What if the true rulers of the world were never kings or presidents, but secret groups operating from the shadows? For centuries, whispers of hidden brotherhoods, forbidden rituals, and powerful alliances have shaped wars, toppled empires, and rewritten history itself. These are the secret societies they never wanted you to know about. And once you hear their stories, you'll never look at history the same way again. Introduction to secret societies throughout history. Secret societies have captivated the imagination of people around the world. They are often seen as mysterious organizations operating in the shadows, pulling the strings of powerful nations, influencing major events, and shaping the course of history without ever appearing in public. But what exactly are secret societies? In simple terms, a secret society is an organization that conducts its internal affairs in secrecy. These groups often have hidden rituals, unique symbols, secret meetings, strict initiation processes, and a strong code of silence among members. While many are built around philosophical, religious, or political beliefs, others exist purely for elite networking or mutual protection. The fascination with secret societies lies in their secrecy. Humans naturally fear and are curious about what they don't understand. When influential figures from politics, religion, or science are found to be part of hidden groups, it fuels speculation and conspiracy theories. People start to wonder, who really controls the world? Is there a hidden hand behind revolutions, assassinations, wars, and financial crises? Secret societies provide the perfect fuel for such questions. Historically, secret societies have appeared in all civilizations. From ancient Egyptian mystery cults to modern elite groups like the Bilderberg meeting, these organizations have remained a persistent force. Some were formed for noble causes fighting oppression, protecting knowledge, or promoting equality, while others aimed for domination, manipulation, or even destruction. Whether they were helping to end monarchies or secretly influencing elections, their power was rarely visible but often effective. One defining characteristic of secret societies is the use of symbolism. These symbols, often seen in architecture, currency, or literature, carry hidden meanings only understood by initiated members. Common symbols include the all-seeing eye, pyramids, pentagrams, keys, and compasses. These visual elements, combined with coded language and rituals, give secret societies an aura of mysticism and fear. Another key aspect is initiation. Becoming a member usually requires undergoing a complex and symbolic process designed to test loyalty, obedience, and secrecy. This process often binds members psychologically, creating a deep sense of brotherhood or spiritual connection. Once inside, members are expected to support one another and maintain absolute silence about the group's inner workings. Over time, secret societies have been blamed for both heroic and horrifying acts. Some are credited with igniting revolutions, preserving ancient wisdom, or spreading Enlightenment ideas. Others have been accused of manipulating stock markets, staging false flag operations, or supporting totalitarian regimes. Whether these accusations are true or just speculation, one thing is clear: secret societies have played a role in shaping the world we live in. In this series, we will uncover the most powerful and influential secret societies in history. From the Freemasons to the Illuminati, from the Templars to Skull and Bones, we will explore their origins, beliefs, goals, and possible impact on historical events. Get ready to enter a hidden world where symbols matter, loyalty is everything, and power is kept in the shadows. The Freemasons. The Freemasons are one of the most well-known and widely misunderstood secret societies in the world. Their origins can be traced back to the Middle Ages, specifically to stonemason guilds in Europe. These guilds were responsible for building cathedrals, castles, and other monumental structures. As time went on, their influence grew, and by the 17th and 18th centuries, these guilds began to accept members who were not actual stonemasons, but shared an interest in philosophy, morality, and Enlightenment ideas. This shift transformed them into what we now know as speculative Freemasonry. The official founding of modern Freemasonry is often dated to 1717, when the first Grand Lodge was established in London. From there, it rapidly expanded across Europe and into the American colonies. Freemasonry presented itself as a fraternity dedicated to moral improvement, mutual aid, and the pursuit of knowledge. However, because of its secrecy and the involvement of many elite figures, it soon became a target of suspicion, especially from religious and political authorities. Freemasonry has always been rich in symbolism and ritual. Members use tools of the Masons' trade like the compass, square, and level as symbols of moral and spiritual values. The all-seeing eye, a symbol often associated with Freemasonry, represents divine oversight or enlightenment. Initiation into the group involves secret oaths, symbolic death and rebirth, and the learning of hidden teachings. These rituals are meant to create a bond between members and emphasize the seriousness of the organization's values. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Freemasons is their influence on major historical events. Many founding fathers of the United States, including George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, were Freemasons. Their ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity were reflected in both Freemason philosophy and the American Revolution. Some scholars even suggest that Freemasonry played a key role in shaping the U.S. Constitution and the design of Washington, D.C., with its use of Masonic symbols in architecture and layout. The Freemasons also had an impact during the French Revolution, as many revolutionaries were members of the fraternity. Their ideas of enlightenment, anti-monarchism, and secular governance aligned with revolutionary goals. However, Freemasonry has also faced serious backlash throughout history. The Catholic Church, for example, condemned it repeatedly, claiming it promoted heresy and undermined religious authority. Various authoritarian regimes, including Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, banned Masonic lodges altogether, fearing their influence. Today, Freemasonry exists all over the world, with millions of members. While modern lodges are not as secretive as they once were, many still conduct private rituals and require membership initiation. Some view the Freemasons as a harmless fraternal organization focused on charity and personal development. Others believe they continue to pull strings behind global events. Whether seen as a force for good or a manipulative elite network, the Freemasons have undeniably shaped history. Their ideas helped build nations, inspire revolutions, connect powerful individuals in ways that remain hidden from public view. The Illuminati is perhaps the most infamous secret society in the world. Mentioned in countless conspiracy theories, songs, films, and political discussions, the name Illuminati sparks images of a hidden elite controlling world events. But where did this mysterious group come from, and how did it become such a powerful symbol in global culture? The real Illuminati was founded on May 1, 1776, in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, now part of Germany, by a professor named Adam Weishaupt. At that time, Europe was dominated by monarchies and heavily influenced by the Catholic Church. Weishaupt believed that superstition, religious dogma, and abuses of state power were holding back progress. He envisioned a society of enlightened individuals who could spread reason, secularism, and moral improvement. This group was called the Order of the Illuminati, meaning the Enlightened Ones. The society operated in complete secrecy, using coded language, aliases, and hierarchical structures borrowed from Freemasonry. In fact, many early Illuminati members were also Freemasons. The group attracted intellectuals, writers, philosophers, and some politicians who supported ideas like democracy, freedom of speech, and the separation of church and state. They believed in using education and subtle influence to promote social change. However, their secretive nature made them a target. By the late 1780s, the Bavarian government saw the Illuminati as a threat and outlawed the group. Many members were arrested and the order was officially dissolved. But this was just the beginning of the myth. In the decades that followed, writers and conspiracy theorists began to claim that the Illuminati had survived and gone underground. They accused the group of orchestrating revolutions, manipulating global banks, and infiltrating governments. The French Revolution, in particular, was blamed on Illuminati influence by some conservative thinkers. Over time, the legend grew, and by the 20th century, the Illuminati became the go-to explanation for almost every major world event. Today, conspiracy theories about the Illuminati are everywhere. Some believe they are part of a new world order plot to create a one-world government. Others say they control Hollywood, the music industry, and global finance. Celebrities who use pyramid symbols, cover one eye, or reference light are often accused of being members. From Jay-Z and Beyoncé to presidents and tech billionaires. The alleged membership list includes some of the most powerful people in the world. Despite the wild claims, there is no verified evidence that the original Illuminati still exists. Historians agree that the group was disbanded over 200 years ago, yet its myth continues to thrive, largely because it taps into deeper fears about control, secrecy, and the concentration of power. The Illuminati may have started as a small group of intellectuals seeking truth and reason, but it has since become a symbol of hidden power and manipulation. Whether it ever truly held global influence or not, its legacy lives on as one of history's most fascinating and controversial secret societies. The Knights Templar. The Knights Templar are one of the most legendary and mysterious secret societies in history. Originally formed as a Catholic military order in the early 12th century, the Templars rose to great power during the Crusades and then suffered a dramatic fall that sparked centuries of speculation, myths, and conspiracy theories. Their story has inspired books, movies, countless theories about hidden treasure, the Holy Grail, and connections to modern secret groups like the Freemasons. The order was founded in 1119 by a French knight named Hugues de Payens, along with 8 other knights, to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land after the First Crusade. They took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, and became known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, later shortened to the Knights Templar. They were headquartered on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, which is where the name Templar comes from. Despite their vow of poverty, the Templars became extremely wealthy and powerful over the next 2 centuries. They were supported by the Catholic Church and given special privileges, such as exemption from taxes and the right to build their own churches. They also created one of the earliest forms of international banking, allowing pilgrims to deposit money in one location and withdraw it in another, which made long-distance travel safer. Over time, the Templars amassed land, castles, gold, and influence across Europe and the Middle East. Their downfall began in the early 14th century. After the Holy Land was lost to Muslim forces, the Templars' military purpose diminished, and their wealth made them a target. King Philip IV of France, heavily in debt to the order, conspired to bring them down. On Friday, October 13, 1307, hundreds of Templars in France were arrested, tortured, and forced to confess to heresy, blasphemy, and other crimes. Their leader, Grand Master Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in 1314. The Pope officially disbanded the order, but many believe some Templars escaped and went underground. The mystery surrounding their sudden fall gave rise to legends that the Templars hid their treasure or sacred relics, such as the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. Some believe that surviving Templars fled to Scotland or Switzerland, where they continued to influence history in secret. Others claim they eventually became part of Freemasonry, especially since many Masonic rites reference Templar symbols and themes. Today, the Knights Templar live on in pop culture, video games, books like the Da Vinci Code, and even modern organizations that claim descent from the original order. While much of their history is documented, the secrecy, torture, confessions, and missing records have left enough gaps to feed speculation for centuries. The Templars' dramatic rise and fall show how power, money, and fear can transform even the most devout order into a target, and how secrecy can turn history into legend. The Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucians are one of the most mysterious and esoteric secret societies in Western history, like the Freemasons or the Templars. The Rosicrucians claim a deeper connection to hidden spiritual truths, ancient wisdom, and mystical transformation. Their name, derived from Rosy Cross, combines the rose, a symbol of secrecy and spiritual unfolding, with the cross representing suffering and salvation. This society is steeped in mystery, with origins that are difficult to trace and teachings that blend science, alchemy, philosophy, and religion. The Rosicrucians first came into public awareness in the early 17th century. Through a series of anonymous manifestos published in Germany, the Fama Fraternitatis, 1614, Confessio Fraternitatis, 1615, and the Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosencreutz, 1616. These texts told the story of a secret brotherhood founded by a mythical figure named Christian Rosencreutz. had traveled through the Middle East and Asia collecting sacred knowledge. He returned to Europe and formed a secret society to promote spiritual enlightenment and reform corrupt systems of power. These manifestos called for a universal reformation of humanity, combining Christian values with Hermetic philosophy, alchemical transformation, and the pursuit of hidden truths. They criticized religious hypocrisy, political corruption, and blind faith in dogma. The texts also suggested that the Rosicrucians were watching world events from the shadows, choosing members wisely, and quietly guiding the destiny of humanity. What made the Rosicrucian movement so powerful wasn't its size. It's unclear if a formal organization even existed at the time, but its influence on the minds of philosophers, scientists, and mystics. The manifestos sparked a Rosicrucian furor. Across Europe, scholars, alchemists, and thinkers began publishing works claiming to be members or pleading to join the mysterious brotherhood. The mix of secrecy, wisdom, and spiritual depth gave the Rosicrucians a legendary status. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, the Rosicrucian tradition influenced many occult and philosophical movements. Their teachings merged with those of the Freemasons, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and Theosophy. Some believe the Rosicrucians held the key to understanding the universe through sacred geometry, hidden mathematics, and spiritual evolution. They were also rumored to possess secret books, advanced technology, and the philosopher's stone, the mythical substance that could grant immortality and transform base metals into gold. In the modern era, several groups claim to carry on the Rosicrucian legacy. These include the ancient mystical order, Rosicrucis, a Merc, and the Rosicrucian Fellowship. While their teachings vary, most focus on spiritual development, the study of mystical laws, and the belief in a hidden order working for the good of humanity. Whether or not the original Rosicrucians existed as a physical organization, their impact on Western thought is undeniable. They blended mysticism with reason, science with spirituality, and secrecy with hope. Their story remains a symbol of the eternal quest for enlightenment and the power of hidden knowledge. Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is one of the most exclusive and mysterious secret societies in the United States. Founded in 1832 at Yale University, this elite organization has long been associated with powerful figures in politics, finance, and intelligence. With its dark rituals, eerie symbols, and tight-knit alumni network, Skull and Bones has sparked countless rumors about its influence over American and global affairs. While it operates from within a university setting, its reach goes far beyond campus. The society was founded by Yale students William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft, father of future U.S. President William Howard Taft. They were inspired by European secret societies, particularly the German student organizations of the early 19th century. Skull and Bones quickly became known as the most prestigious of Yale's secret societies. Each year, only 15 seniors are tapped to join, chosen for their leadership, intelligence, and potential for influence. The society meets in a windowless building known as the Tomb, located on the Yale campus. This structure, covered in secrecy and folklore, is said to contain artifacts, relics, and even human bones. Initiation into Skull and Bones is surrounded by rumors of strange rituals, including confessions, mock funerals, and symbolic death and rebirth ceremonies. Members are expected to maintain total secrecy about what happens inside. One of the most intriguing aspects of Skull and Bones is the sheer power of its members. Known as Bonesmen, many have gone on to hold some of the highest offices in the United States. Among them are 3 U.S. presidents: William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. Others include senators, Supreme Court justices, business tycoons, CIA directors, and media moguls. Some believe the society acts as a training ground for the American elite, grooming members to take control of key institutions. The society has also been linked to the creation of intelligence agencies. Several CIA founders and top officials were Bonesmen, leading to speculation that Skull and Bones has a hand in shaping U.S. foreign policy from the shadows. Conspiracy theorists claim that the group influences elections, manipulates markets, and plays a role in global events through its vast network of loyal alumni. Critics argue that Skull and Bones represents the worst aspects of elitism. It's a secret club where power is concentrated among a few privileged individuals. They point to the group's apparent lack of diversity and its commitment to secrecy as evidence that it undermines democratic transparency. Defenders, however, claim it's just a harmless student club focused on tradition, personal development, and lifelong bonds. Despite the secrecy, the public has caught glimpses into the society over the years through investigative journalism, leaked documents, and the testimonies of former members. Yet much about Skull and Bones remains unknown. Whether it's truly a shadow government or simply a powerful old boys network, Skull and Bones has undeniably influenced the course of American history. It shows how even in a modern democracy, hidden societies can quietly shape the destiny of nations. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was one of the most influential occult secret societies of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Founded in London in 1888, it brought together a unique mix of magic, mysticism, ancient philosophy, and ritual. Unlike other secret societies rooted in politics or religion, the Golden Dawn focused on personal transformation, spiritual enlightenment, and the hidden forces of the universe. It attracted artists, poets, and intellectuals, many of whom went on to shape the cultural and mystical movements of the modern world. The Golden Dawn was founded by three British Freemasons, William Wynne Westcott, Samuel Little, MacGregor Mathers, and William Robert Woodman. They claim to have received mysterious documents called the cipher manuscripts, which outlined a complex system of magical rituals and teachings. These manuscripts allegedly led them to a German adept named Anna Sprengel, who authorized the creation of a magical order in England. While this story is debated, it added to the society's mystical reputation. The Golden Dawn system was heavily influenced by Hermeticism and ancient spiritual philosophy based on writings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. It also incorporated Kabbalah, astrology, alchemy, tarot, Egyptian symbolism, and Christian mysticism. Members of the order progressed through a series of grades, each offering deeper knowledge and more advanced magical practices. These included rituals for astral projection, communication with spiritual beings, and transformation of consciousness. The order operated in temples, with each temple led by a group of higher-ranking members. Meetings were secretive, filled with elaborate rituals, robes, and coded language. Initiates were sworn to secrecy and expected to dedicate themselves to spiritual development. Unlike many male-dominated secret societies of the time, the Golden Dawn admitted both men and women on equal footing, a progressive stance for the era. Some of the most famous members of the Golden Dawn include poet W.B. Yeats, author Arthur Machen, and the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley. Crowley's involvement led to serious internal conflicts. His controversial practices and ambition to take over the order caused a split, leading to the eventual decline of the original Golden Dawn by the early 1900s. However, splinter groups continued its traditions, and Crowley went on to develop his own magical system called Thelema. The influence of the Golden Dawn can be seen in modern forms of Western mysticism, Wicca, New Age spirituality, and ceremonial magic. Many of the magical tools and symbols used today, such as pentagrams, elemental rituals, and tarot-based meditation, were either developed or refined by Golden Dawn members. Despite its relatively short existence, the Golden Dawn left a lasting mark on both spiritual practice and popular culture. It showed that secret societies need not be political or economic in nature. They could also be gateways to inner transformation and mystical knowledge. To this day, the Golden Dawn remains a powerful symbol of esoteric tradition, attracting seekers drawn to the idea that the universe holds hidden forces that can be accessed through ritual, wisdom, and will. The Black Hand was a secret society that played a deadly role in one of the most significant events of the 20th century, the outbreak of World War I. Founded in the early 1900s in Serbia, the Black Hand was a nationalist organization dedicated to the idea of uniting all South Slavic people into a single, independent nation, free from Austro-Hungarian rule. While it was not as ancient or mystical as other secret societies, the Black Hand was one of the most dangerous, using assassination and terrorism as tools for political change. The full name of the group was Unification or Death. Though it became popularly known as the Black Hand, due to the emblem they used, a black hand holding a dagger. The society was formed in 1911 by Serbian army officers, including Colonel Dragutin Dimitrijevic, also known as APIs. Their main goal was to liberate Serbs living under Austro-Hungarian control, especially in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The group operated in total secrecy, using coded messages, strict loyalty oaths, and a network of agents across the Balkans. The Black Hand's methods were extreme. They believed that political violence, including assassination, was a justified means of achieving national liberation. Members were recruited carefully, often from the military, and had to swear absolute loyalty to the cause. Once inside, members were expected to obey orders without question, even if it meant killing or dying for the mission. The organization worked behind the scenes, often hiding its operations through legitimate nationalist groups to avoid exposure. Their most infamous operation changed the world forever. On June 28, 1914, a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb named Gavrilo Principu had been trained and equipped by members of the Black Hand, assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife in Sarajevo. The assassination shocked Europe and led to a chain reaction of political alliances and military mobilizations that ignited World War I within weeks. The world's major powers were at war. The connection between Princip and the Black Hand became clear during investigations, leading to a wave of arrests. Colonel Dimitrijevic and several others were tried and executed in 1917. However, by then, the damage had been done. The world was plunged into a war that would last for years, kill millions, and reshape global politics. The Black Hand's legacy is controversial. In Serbia, some view the group as heroes who fought for national freedom. In the rest of the world, they are often seen as dangerous extremists who used violence to achieve political ends. What cannot be denied is their impact. Unlike many secret societies that work behind the scenes, the Black Hand's actions led directly to a world-changing event. The story of the Black Hand is a reminder that secret societies are not always shrouded in myth and magic. Sometimes they are real, deadly, and capable of rewriting history with a single bullet. Their existence shows how powerful and dangerous underground movements can become when combined with nationalism, secrecy, and the will to act. The Thule Society. Founded in Munich shortly after World War I, the Thule Society was not just a club of eccentric occultists. It was a breeding ground for far-right ideology, racial hatred, and political extremism. Its influence helped shape one of the most destructive regimes the world has ever known. The society was officially established in 1918, but its roots go deeper. It grew out of the German Arden, an earlier nationalist group obsessed with Germanic mysticism, Aryan racial theory, and anti-Semitism. The Thule Society took its name from the mythical land of Thule, believed by some occultists to be the lost homeland of the Aryan race. Possibly located in the far north, or even Atlantis, members believed that the German people were descendants of a superior ancient race, and that restoring this pure bloodline would return Germany to greatness. On the surface, the Thule Society conducted lectures and studies on ancient runes, Nordic legends, and mystical traditions. But beneath that scholarly facade was a deeply political and racist agenda. The society promoted radical nationalism and saw Jews, communists, and foreigners as enemies of the German people. They used symbols like the swastika, which they believed had magical significance, long before the Nazis adopted it. The Thule Society wasn't large, but it was well-connected. Its members included wealthy elites, military officers, journalists, and future Nazi officials. The Thule Society provided the ideological foundation that fueled Hitler's vision of racial purity, Aryan supremacy, and anti-Semitic hatred. Their combination of occult beliefs, mythical history, and pseudoscience became part of the Nazi mythos. The Thule Society had passed on its toxic ideology, helping to create a movement that would plunge the world into war and commit horrific crimes against humanity. Today, the Thule Society is often cited in discussions about the occult roots of Nazism and the dangerous intersection of myth, racism, and secret agendas. It serves as a chilling example of how secret societies, when driven by hate and empowered by power-hungry leaders, can shape history in terrifying ways. Opus Dei and the Vatican's secret influence. Opus Dei is one of the most controversial and secretive organizations within the Roman Catholic Church. While it is not technically a secret society in the traditional sense, its inner workings, extreme loyalty, suspected political influence have earned it a place on many lists of powerful hidden groups. Founded in 1928 by Spanish priest, Opus Dei Latin for Work of God, promotes the idea that ordinary people can achieve holiness through their daily work. However, critics argue that the organization operates like a religious cult, manipulating followers and infiltrating governments with a hidden agenda. Opus Dei rose to prominence during the 20th century, especially under Pope John Paul II, who supported the group's mission and canonized in Ardinglingar. The group operates legally as a personal prelate of the Catholic Church, essentially a church structure with global reach and its own hierarchy, independent from local bishops. This special status gives Opus Dei tremendous autonomy and secrecy, allowing it to manage its members and finances with little outside oversight. The core message of Opus Dei is that spiritual devotion is not limited to priests or monks. Instead, laypeople, businessmen, teachers, politicians can serve God by striving for excellence in their professional and personal lives. This idea is attractive to many devout Catholics who want to live morally without entering religious orders. However, this message is accompanied by strict rules, regular confession, long periods of silence, and in some cases, physical mortification. Members may use practices like self-flagellation or wearing spiked chains around the thigh as a form of penance. Members of Opus Dei are divided into different categories. Numerals live celibate lives in Opus Dei centers and often hold leadership roles. Supernumeraries are married members who live in the wider world but remain deeply involved in the organization. Priests of Opus Dei form a separate clergy under the prelature. Members are expected to show absolute loyalty, and the group encourages secrecy about its internal practices. The real controversy comes from Opus Dei's alleged involvement in global politics and economics. The group has been accused of using its network to influence laws, elections, and public policies, especially on conservative issues like abortion, same-sex marriage, and education. Some former members have described the group as manipulative, saying it exerts control over personal decisions, career paths, and even family life. Opus Dei has also been linked to powerful figures in business, media, and intelligence agencies. Popular culture has amplified the mystery. Don Brown's The Da Vinci Code portrayed Opus Dei as a violent, shadowy group hiding dark secrets within the Vatican. While this was fictionalized, it reflected widespread curiosity and fear about how much power the group really holds. Defenders of Opus Dei say the organization is simply a devout community misunderstood by outsiders, but its secrecy, discipline, deep connections to both church and state make it one of the most intriguing and debated forces within modern religion and geopolitics. The Bohemian Club/Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Club is one of the most exclusive and mysterious private clubs in the United States. In its annual retreat at Bohemian Grove, it's fueled decades of speculation about what really goes on behind its heavily guarded gates. Founded in San Francisco in 1872, the Bohemian Club began as a gathering of artists, writers, and musicians. Over time, however, it evolved into a powerful social network where America's richest and most influential men business leaders, politicians, and even U.S. presidents come together for secret meetings, performances, and bizarre rituals deep in the redwood forests of California. Every July, members of the Bohemian Club retreat to a 2,700-acre private campground in Monte Rio, Sonoma County, known as Bohemian Grove. This 2-week event is strictly men-only and off-limits to outsiders, journalists, and even most employees of the club. The official explanation is that it's simply a place for men to relax, enjoy nature, drink, and perform theatrical plays known as Grove plays. But over the years, evidence has emerged suggesting that far more than just singing and storytelling happens there. One of the most controversial aspects of Bohemian Grove is the cremation of care ceremony. This strange ritual, held at the beginning of each retreat, involves men in robes performing a symbolic act in front of a giant stone aula, 40-foot idol, representing wisdom. The ritual is meant to release participants from the burden of care, i.e., stress and responsibility, allowing them to fully enjoy their time in the grove. While members claim it's harmless pageantry, outsiders view it as a cult-like behavior among some of the world's most powerful men. Over the decades, attendees of Bohemian Grove have included U.S. presidents like Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush, as well as influential figures from banking, military, tech, and media industries. It's been reported that major decisions, such as the planning of the Manhattan Project, were first discussed informally at the Grove. This has led to widespread concern that the event is more than a social gathering. It's a forum for backroom deals that affect the entire world. Hidden from public scrutiny, conspiracy theorists have long believed that Bohemian Grove functions as a modern-day secret society, an American version of the Illuminati or Freemasonry, where the elite set the global agenda while the public remains unaware. Some even suggest that satanic or pagan rituals occur there, though these claims are largely unproven and sensationalized. Still, the club's intense secrecy, strange traditions, and exclusive membership have only added fuel to these beliefs. Defenders of the Bohemian Club say it's just a private space where powerful men can unwind and escape their public lives. But critics argue that any setting where billionaires and politicians gather in secrecy deserves closer scrutiny, especially when policies, wars, and economic shifts may result from informal conversations held under the redwoods. Bohemian Grove remains a symbol of elite secrecy, privilege. The possibility that real power operates far outside the public eye, places the average person will never see secret societies and revolutions. Throughout history, revolutions have often been sparked or guided by secret societies operating in the shadows. These underground groups, formed in times of oppression and censorship, offered a hidden space for radicals, intellectuals, and freedom fighters to exchange ideas, plan rebellions, and spread revolutionary ideologies. From Europe to Latin America, secret societies have been instrumental in toppling monarchies, dismantling colonial regimes, and changing the political landscape of entire nations. One of the most famous examples is the Carbonari, a secret society that emerged in early 19th century Italy, inspired by Enlightenment ideas and disillusioned by foreign rule. The Carbonari aimed to unify Italy and establish constitutional governments. Although they were eventually suppressed, their underground efforts laid the ideological foundation for the later Risorgimento movement, which ultimately unified Italy. Their name meaning charcoal burners came from the disguise used by members, while appearing as simple tradesmen. Another powerful group was the Sons of Liberty, which played a critical role in the American Revolution. Formed in the 1760s in response to British taxation policies, the group organized protests, published revolutionary propaganda, and even orchestrated direct actions like the Boston Tea Party. Although not secret in the modern sense, they operated clandestinely at times to avoid British crackdowns. Their symbol, a circle of liberty poles or a simple pine tree, represented their defiance against tyranny. In France, the Jacobins, while not exactly a secret society, operated in a similar underground fashion before and during the French Revolution. Their meetings and ideological gatherings helped escalate the revolution, leading to the fall of the monarchy and the rise of the Republic. Secret clubs like the Jacobin Club provided platforms for radical thinkers such as Robespierre to promote ideas that would change the course of French and European history. Latin America saw the rise of secret groups like the Lautaro Lodge, founded by revolutionaries such as Anne de San, modeled after European Masonic structures. The lodge served as a secret meeting place for leaders of the South American independence movements. These lodges offered protection from colonial authorities while helping organize and coordinate liberation efforts across multiple nations, including Venezuela, Argentina, and Chile. In more recent history, revolutionary secret societies have taken new forms. During apartheid in South Africa, clandestine anti-apartheid cells helped organize resistance movements, often in cooperation with the African National Congress (ANC). In Nazi Germany, underground resistance networks like the White Rose and Red Orchestra risked their lives to fight against totalitarianism from within. What unites all these movements is the understanding that secrecy can be a tool of survival when facing brutal or authoritarian regimes. These societies acted as invisible engines of change, using coded messages, hidden symbols, and stealthy communication to advance the cause of freedom. Though their names and goals varied, these revolutionary secret societies left a lasting legacy. They show that even in the darkest times, resistance can flourish in the shadows, and sometimes change begins in a secret meeting no one was ever supposed to hear about. The Bilderberg Group, modern-day global conspirators. Unlike many other secret societies shrouded in centuries-old myth, the Bilderberg Group is very real and very powerful. Founded in 1954, the Bilderberg Group was established as an annual meeting of political leaders, corporate elites, academic thinkers, and media influencers from North America and Europe. Its goal? To foster transatlantic cooperation on major policy issues. But what makes Bilderberg truly controversial is not its existence, it's the secrecy that surrounds it. The group was named after the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, where the first meeting took place. It was initiated by Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, along with politicians and business leaders concerned about rising anti-American sentiment in Europe after World War II. Since then, Bilderberg meetings have been held annually, rotating across cities in Europe and North America. Attendees include heads of state, CEOs of the world's largest corporations, central bankers, media moguls, and defense experts, always about 120 to 150 individuals. What happens at Bilderberg meetings is never recorded or officially reported. There are no press briefings, no minutes taken, and no public statements issued. Attendees are forbidden from quoting each other, even outside the meetings. This strict adherence to Chatham House rule has made the group a lightning rod for conspiracy theories. Critics argue that such secrecy among the world's elite breeds corruption, erodes democratic accountability, and enables backroom deals that affect billions of lives. Among the alleged discussions held behind Bilderberg's closed doors, the planning of financial crises, decisions on regime changes, manipulation of global markets, and the creation of supranational policies without public consent. Some believe the group aims to establish a new world order, with a global government led not by elected officials, but by the unelected financial elite. While there is no solid evidence to prove these claims, the group's silence on its activities only fuels speculation. Notable attendees over the years have included Bill Clinton, Angela Merkel, Tony Blair, Henry Kissinger, Jeff Bezos, Mark Carney, and representatives from Google, Facebook, NATO, and the IMF. Many who attended went on to take key roles in world governance shortly afterward, leading some to suggest that Bilderberg acts as a grooming ground for future leaders of a global elite. Supporters argue that the group is merely a forum for informal dialogue, where powerful figures can exchange ideas away from the media spotlight. They claim this privacy allows for more honest, creative conversations free from political pressure. But in a world where transparency and public trust are already under strain, this rationale does little to quiet concerns. The Bilderberg Group may not be a secret society in the traditional sense, but it represents a new kind of secrecy, one that hides in plain sight. As long as the world's most powerful people gather behind closed doors with no accountability, suspicions of global manipulation will persist, whether it's a harmless meeting or a council of shadow rulers. The Bilderberg Group remains one of the most enigmatic forces in modern geopolitics.